Hi, my name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer, and I am a psychologist. And I just drove at least 11 hours straight. I went all the way to a different state and picked up someone and came back. So I was in the car for a long time. I was stuck on the freeway for like an hour or two, just sitting there. And so there's just something that I feel called to say, to share. I breathe like that sometimes because it takes me into an anxious place for myself. So just take a deep breath. So what was coming to my heart was, so we all have insecurities about relationships and stuff like that. I guess I'm talking to married men and single men. And women too. Because how this came up for me was, so I was in the car and I started worrying about my dog. That was, anyway, it's all fine, everything's fine, but I just had a thought and then I had to let it go. And then I was thinking about this one way that I would try to control my circumstances when I feel anxious about relationships. Let's say I would try to get assurance from some means that is taking a shortcut. And it's kind of like if I didn't trust that a relationship would work well in my life or something like this, which I have great relationships. So, but any of our old programming or our old fears that are from our world can come up. So it would be like if I just kept dropping off at my local Chinese restaurant and getting fortune cookies and like, okay, is this one going to say this? And it's like all that is. So look at it really simply, okay? All that is me being afraid that I am not enough, or I don't have enough, or like I'm not going to have the skills because I've had a long-term relationship before that is no more, and so I never thought it would be no more. And so it can bring up insecurities in you and me. I'm not trying to be vague here, but I'm also a psychologist for over 15 years, for a long time. Over that. I'll just leave it at that. A little more mystery. But so I have that as part of my understanding of the world. Like I went to school for 9 years, and then I've been practicing for a long time after that. So I think about these things, and I worked on it really hard in the long-term relationship that I was in. But regardless, is what I was going to say, the picture of that is if I went to, to go get fortune cookies because I doubt my own capacity to be able to work things out in a relationship or something, then what I'm doing is I'm looking outside of myself and I'm putting the power outside in something else, something random, like who stuffed those fortune cookies. Now, don't get me wrong. I will pray about things all the time and surrender things up to God, aka divine love, and and trust that the answers will keep coming to me, and they do, you know. But I don't want to get super religious on this for people. I just want anyone that finds this to feel welcome. You're welcome here to what I'm about to share with you. It needs to be said. It's probably not going to be popular, but I don't care about that. I want you to know this just came out. This is like the end of the 11 hours of driving. I did a lot of meditating during that driving. I try not to do things that just distract me. I love the quietness of being in the car by myself. I was by myself the whole way out there. And then the way back, the person I picked up was sleeping half the time. So, what I'm getting at though, because I don't want to, sometimes it's difficult for me to get to this place because, anyway, it's, all right, it ought not to be hard to talk about, is so what I was saying is when I reach for something like that, it's me continuing to express that I don't trust that things can work out or things will work out with the skills, the mad skills that I have, you know. And I don't have to rely on my own skills or my own training as a psychologist or whatever. There's still divine love. Like there's still love. If someone as enlightened as Christ says, love as I have loved you, then that's it. Like if he invites us to do so, then it's possible to do so. And so I keep stepping out in that it's possible. And again, I don't want this to be super religious. I want this to be, so what was coming up was that I surrendered. I said, all right, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. And I got this vision of men looking at pornography in the same way. Is that wasn't what I was dealing with. I was dealing with trying to get security about how relationships can work out, but from a means outside of myself. And so it was just given to me in a vision then that sometimes men will go and I heard it from a man. I heard it from a man actually like less than a week ago. He said, you're looking at pictures that you're looking at pictures of someone who's not looking back at you. They're not looking back into your eyes. It took me 9 minutes here to say that I want you to know, whoever you are, that you are worth having a real intimate relationship with a woman, and it's possible for you to have this and not to run off. You know, it's your life, but I'm encouraging you. And this only came to me because I just surrendered my last go-to. I had this one way where it was just like, I don't know how to put it in words that you can understand. Like, Okay, so what I was saying is that you are worth having an intimate relationship. And I was saying, when I was like, that's it, I don't want to try to figure things out. I don't want to try to make my own shortcuts. Okay, so okay. What's coming to mind is I met with this Native American shaman, Native American Christian shaman, Red Elk, at one time. And he was telling me, he was saying that it's kind of like if we knew how to walk on water before, and then he calls it Satan, but comes around and says, hey, look, you can make this thing called a boat and you can go on this water with the boat. So you have something in your hands, and it's like, boat, you used to be able to walk on water, and so it's like you're trading something far better for something less, but your egotism likes having something in its hand, likes having something it can control, because it's afraid of the unknown, but it wouldn't be unknown if we all knew how to walk on water again. I'll just say again, because I like seeing what he was talking. He was saying we're all in the mind womb of God. We're in God's dream, and to work the dream. And so there's a lot of magic in that, like a good magic, not bad, but. And so it's kind of like he says, it's like if we had the capacity to be telepathic with each other before, and then it's like, oh, look, here's a phone. You can call each other on a phone, and it's like you're trading something far greater for something far less. Okay, so this is what I want to tell you is when I was like, you know what, I don't want to see anything to do with, like, it's kind of like if I have Chinese food and I don't even want to open fortune cookies anymore in case. So I had cut out all of this other stuff and fasted from all this stuff, and was really learning a lot through fasting. You learn a lot about yourself and about how to trust the natural process and grow in deeper relationships with other people when you fast from certain things. I was fasting from media and from songs and from news, all sorts of things, to just quiet my mind down so you can hear from a deeper place inside of you. And so only when I was just like, no, you take everything. I don't want to have anything to do with anything of me having any kind of shortcuts. Then that's when these things get revealed to you. And I felt in my heart that it was important to make a video so you guys can know this, is that it's a lie that you can't have a real, genuine, intimate relationship with a woman. You can. But the thing is there's no buts about that. It's important that you know, though, that when you choose to go and take shortcuts, then, you might have these pictures of other women and stuff, in your hands. And it's a control thing. I know, I see it as a control thing because I understand how I was trying to control things before. I didn't see myself as trying to do that at all, but it just seemed way too insecure for me, and like it wasn't going to work out a natural way, organic way, because of my childhood, because I grew up with a father that didn't know how to have real intimacy with my mom and show us that. He showed up in a lot of different ways, but anyway, he's a public figure, so I'm not gonna say more about that right now. I can say about my own experience, but that's how I experienced it. And so I just had this understanding about men, and it's in our society too, it's like taught to objectify women. And I'm meeting so many men that have worked through this and that don't objectify women, and You know, it's one thing to notice someone's beautiful. It's not, there's great, that's wonderful, you know? And and so people get caught up in thinking that, you know, they totally suppress their sexuality and don't understand sacred sexuality and embracing that this is part of your physical body, you know, part of you being a soul in a physical body in this earth. But um and I love Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky says, in the end, the world will be saved by beauty, you know? So it's so important. And to get into beauty, to understand beauty. What I learned from one of my professors a long time ago is he was a football coach, and he said that when men like go to the operas, not right now, but you know, I mean, listen to opera or watch it or are engaged in high art and high beauty, it it soothes some part of of this longing that you have for connection, but in a healthy way, and it shows you how to channel that in a different way. This is why I put roller skating on my channel, because on my YouTube channel, on my profile, and instead and other of my media, because I I'm learning myself how to embrace my own sacred femininity and I'm allowed to be in my body and embody my body and move, you know, and there's beauty in that. And I'm not saying I know how to do that perfectly, but I want there to be an avenue for women to express themselves physically in their bodies and not feel like they're doing something that's dirty or something like that, you know? And I want men to know that it's important for you to engage with beauty, you know, to just be present. I have this just rich, wonderful friendships where we're just affectionate with each other and everything's beautiful, and it's not overly sexualized in any kind of way at all, you know, but it's not um suppressing, like that's just one aspect of who we are. It's not all of who we are. But what happens is men before, until today, right? Because we're going to change things. We can create a revolution however we want, wherever we want, whenever we want. And so that can happen today. Is men were taught that, you know, you have a higher, you know, self-worth among your peers if you can sleep with a lot of women and you can, you know, whatever, you know, if you're into all of that stuff, into just being a player or whatever it is, you know. And it's so weird because I know so many men that aren't like that now. So it's hard for me to see guys like that anymore. Thank God that's healed so much in me. But it's just, if you learned to get your identity from that instead of learning how to build a healthy relationship with a woman, and if that seems too daunting or too scary for you, that's what was on my heart. What I just wanted to say is it's not too scary. There are women that, because women are more relationally minded sometimes or something. I mean, I know a lot of guys that are too. It's so sweet. Like, oh my gosh. Is just women though, like there's women that are just safe people, and you can, as you choose, this is what I was going to say earlier, as you choose to let go of taking shortcuts and just getting pictures of naked women or whatever like that, you know, or just pictures, and or going to TV or media or anything like that, instead of that, and I know this is a form of media, but this is me teaching you how to get out of that, you know, so that you can have a real lasting relationship with someone and get your worth not from exterior things, but from knowing your worth internally, knowing that you are a soul here and you have a higher purpose than just taking shortcuts. And as you take shortcuts, it rewires your brain. And so there is a lady that I was recommending because I found her videos. They came to me probably because my phone, you know, our phones like pay attention to what we're saying. So it came up in my feed, of course. But anyway, and she was talking about how your brain gets hijacked, your it's like the pleasure center of your brain gets flooded, and then another center of your brain, I studied this so long ago, so I don't remember all of the different parts right now because it's so late. I've been driving forever. It's like almost, it's past 2 in the morning here. So anyway, but I really wanted to get this out before I chickened out. All right, is that it floods the pleasure center of your brain, and then a different part of your brain numbs out. And so it makes it so that your brain chemicals are geared towards you wanting more and more. And then she was talking about, and then you start crossing your own moral boundaries and stuff like that. You don't have to, like, anytime you can just say, like, I want to turn the other direction. I want to learn how to have real relationships. I want to learn how to heal this. And she talks about how to heal it. So whatever, you can look up my tweets from a long time ago on Twitter. I talked about her, or else it's in some of my other videos. Oh, you know what? You can look for it in my videos. You'll find the video. I linked it in there. I made sure to put it in the description. You'll know which video. Anyway, so you can heal that. You can heal your brain, and you can know. That's just what I wanted to say, is that when you say no, then it's just uncomfortable in the moment. And for me, I just had to keep going, you know what? I surrender my need to know what's going to happen tomorrow, to know what's going to happen in the next moment, to know how things are going to work out, how this possibly can work out. I let that go. Whatever pain I have to deal with by not going to an addiction or not going to your usual out, you know. I'm hearing one of Elliot's songs. Elliot Smith was a friend of mine, and he says, nobody broke your heart. You broke your own, because you can't finish what you start. And it's not a put down, you know. I mean, he might have been talking sadly to himself. Nobody broke your heart. Broke your own, because you can't finish what you start. But you can. I'm here to tell you, you can finish what you started. You can. Like, love can happen. And women are really, that's what I was going to say. Like, as you learn to be kind to yourself and speak good words into yourself and forgive yourself from the past is the past. You can start from here and move forward and not judge yourself for your past. But know that there are, I'm thinking of a certain woman now, but I can't tell her story. I don't have permission to tell her story, but it's such a beautiful one. And she just chose to be honest. She chose to be really honest about what had happened to her in her past. And this man dared to step up and love her and welcome her exactly as she was with all of her past. It was just such a courageous story. I don't want to say more than that, but I know a few people like that. So I'm mixing, and it wasn't a client or anything, but it's just private. But I want you to know that whatever your past is, if you sit in the uncomfortability of not going to the shortcut, and what they always say is when you're fasting, like from something like that, from like numbing yourself with alcohol or drugs, or numbing yourself with pornography or anything like that. When you choose to not take that route, you want to develop a different pattern and fill that in with a good thing, like go on a walk. I know that sounds so simple. Do a meditation. Just learn how to go in and be at peace in yourself. Find a song that calms you down. And, or, I'm just thinking, like, watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, that good feeling when Charlie Bucket, finds the golden ticket. And like, there's good feelings in this world that are good to have, and a boy acting in a noble way. That's the way your heart and your soul calls you to treat women with respect and dignity and kindness, and for us to treat ourselves that way. We're not meant to be objectified. And so when you objectify us, things are in a broken order. They're disordered. And when you walk in disorderliness, then it causes you to have confusion in your life, and it causes other things to break down in your life. And all of a sudden, how is this great relationship going to happen when you've practiced destroying the very thing you want to love? The very person you want to love is a woman. Let's just say, if we're talking about heterosexual relationships, that's just what I'm addressing right now. That can be repaired. And what I was going to say too is there are women that will just be like, hey, just tell me what's going on. Like, I will sit here with you, and if it's like appropriate or whatever, like put my arm around you, just like rest my head on your shoulder, you rest your head on mine, and you'll get through this. And if you want to know what it's like to like how to develop close relationships with women, then it's like they'll tell you, or there's books on that, or I teach about it a lot in my videos, directly and indirectly. I'm always talking about how to have a healthy relationship with yourself and with other people and with divine love. And I try to be really vulnerable and open up my own stuff so you can know that I'm not someone without these kinds of struggles. Feel like this past year has been like going through a furnace of burning away what doesn't need to be there anymore, and purifying so that I'm free of like attaching myself to the stuff I'm not meant to attach to. You see, it's like if you can have a vibrant, passionate life in love and in original peace and original joy, and you can have that, but you doubt that you can have that because there's a liar that's out there in the world. That's just how the world operates. Egotism lies and says, no, we have to secure it this way. And it's like, this is security because you can scroll through things on your phone, and hide things and have a double life or whatever. It's like, that's not security. It brings you a momentary sense of a high or sense of control, but it's kind of like it weakens you. It's kind of like, if I know how to be joyous, playing my guitar, writing songs, playing cover songs, skating, engaging with my friends, being really present in life, being present in my meditations and stuff. If I didn't know any of that stuff could happen before, and I just kept going to alcohol to make me feel that high and, invulnerability, which I'm learning how to be invulnerable in my real life. And I don't have to use, and I'm not picking on anyone at all. I'm just saying I could use alcohol, but then alcohol is a depressant and I just get depressed after that, and I get more and more dependent on that substance, and then I become its slave, and I'm enslaved to that substance, and then I can't say no because I can, but my ability to has been weakened, because I kept believing the lie that I couldn't have fun unless the alcohol took me to that state. Someone said it the other day this way. They said, you know, they said, I dance like a monkey for the devil, just run around, jumping through hoops, looking like a fool to try to get other people's approval or to try to prove that I'm worth something. I might as well yield to divine love, to God, because God will, God, divine love loves us and protects us and is not going to abandon us. And it was like she was saying, the devil will take you up high and then drop you off a cliff and watch you fall really slowly and painfully, but God will take you up and will put a shield of protection around you. And that's, I can say the same thing because I'm experiencing that. And it's so much more rich and joyous than any kind of shortcut, but that I could have taken before, It was in one of my songs, you promised the world and left me with nothing, you know? That's how the world works. It doesn't have to be about a certain person or anything. It's just like you promised the world and left me with nothing, you know? A bunch of empty promises. That's what those things do. They give you a false sense of control. And it's kind of like I've worked with people with eating disorders, and I can look at it's like I could go eat some chocolate cake, and eat it all day long. And and the chemical in the chocolate is like oxytocin. It's like the love chemical. And so it gives you this high, but then it just leaves me all just carrying this extra weight. And I insisted on taking a shortcut instead of going on a walk that might give me this slow burn and this steady high, but not this rush to high, but it's like then I'm not carrying that weight anymore in my body, and I'm not running off to food to try to make a quick fix. I'm actually working on what I was in pain about, what's underneath, because there's some fear in our addictions. There's some fear underneath, some pain. And so you don't get to heal that pain when you keep running away from it and controlling it. And anyway, that's enough. I just want you to know that you're worth a real relationship, and it's totally possible for you to have that. And like, I just encourage you to walk away from objectifying women, and women from objectifying yourselves. You don't have to like hook up with a guy to get him to like you. You don't have to become hardened in your heart and just think, oh, there aren't going to be relationships, so this is all I'm going to have, so let's go for that. You don't have to do that anymore. You're allowed to know what love is. That came to me in a meditation before. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. I want to feel what love is. I know you can show me. I got it in my meditation, and I trust it. God was saying, divine love was saying, I want you, Cheryl, you know, and you watching this, because you guys are like part of my tribe here, you know. That's what I have these videos for, is for to encourage you guys, you know, with the encouragement that I keep getting is like, divine love, as me, as a spark of God, as a soul, as connected to all that is, wants to know what love is by me learning how to not settle for less than real love and hold out for good loving and create that in my life. You know, I get to create that in my life, whether I'm in a relationship, I'm on, or not. You know, I get to create this beautiful, loving relationships within myself and with divine love and around me with my friends and with whomever, you know. I get to do that, and it's so fun and it's so fulfilling, and it's so much better than any shortcut that was offered me before. And so I just want to encourage you that you can have that too. And if you just needed to hear that from a woman, I will stand here as a woman and tell you that, you know, like I'm telling it to your face, like I'm saying, you are worth having a real relationship with a woman, and it's possible for you to develop intimacy. And I encourage you not to take shortcuts and to go into high beauty. Look at art, like classic art, you know, really good art. Look, that's Van Gogh right there. But high art and high opera and high music and that richness will feed this part of you that wants something visual, that wants something in your ears, that you long for beauty. And so part of your looking into the other things was your longing for beauty. You're meant to have beauty in your life. So find ways for you to have real beauty in your life, and then, you know, get your brain back in order and working so that you're, you know, when the pleasure center is all overloaded, then natural beauty, you can't even see it, but your brain can heal just like people's brain heals. I used to work at a rehab, and they would do brain spect imaging of people that were alcoholics or you know, high a lot on different things, and over time your brain can heal. And like, just work at it and be patient and be kind to yourself and be affectionate and be loving and warm, and just, I wish you so much love and freedom. I hope this spoke to your heart and brought healing to you. All right, much love.